Starting with Ribbon of Darkness. That's the
Right.
first song on the Opry that I ever sang when I was probably 17.
Wow.
And that was because my sister,
Right.
Loretta, got sick.
For 30 years, Crystal Gayle kept a huge secret from her fans, and now it's finally out. The Grammy-winning singer is known for her country pop hits and her famous floor-length hair. But there's another part of her life she managed to keep private. Fans are now wondering how she hid it for so long and why she's choosing to speak about it today. So what is this secret that has everyone talking? Here's the truth behind Crystal Gayle's double life: the background singer. From being a background singer in Lynn's band, Crystal has built an empire as a country singer. Few aspiring singers eventually get to the spotlight, but despite being surrounded by so much loss as a child, Crystal's vision was always clear. Crystal's story began in a small coal mining town in Kentucky, where life was tough and money was tight. Her father worked long, exhausting hours in the coal mines, and over time, he developed black lung disease, a common illness among miners. When Crystal was just 4 years old, the family made a big decision. They packed up their lives and moved to Wabash, Indiana, hoping her father would get better medical care. It was a difficult move, but they didn't have a choice. In Wabash, the family lived in a neighborhood made up mostly of retired miners and their families. Crystal's mother, Clara, took a job as a nurse's aide to help support the household. Sadly, Crystal's father never recovered. He died from a stroke in 1959, leaving Clara to raise the children on her own. But even with all these challenges, Crystal found something that made her feel alive: singing. Crystal once revealed that she could sing before she could walk, and everyone around her believed it. Life in Wabash was different from the slow, rural pace of Butcher Hollow. The family's new home sat in a suburban area, giving Crystal a blend of small-town values and the faster pace of city life. This combined environment shaped her in ways she didn't fully understand until she got older. She listened to the radio constantly, singing along to every song. But the voice she admired most belonged to someone in her own family: her older sister, Loretta Lynn. Loretta was already on her way to becoming a star, and Crystal watched her closely, learning everything she could. By the time Crystal reached her teenage years, music had become more than a passion. It was her path. She started singing in church, performed simple folk songs, and even recorded little demo tapes. Loretta encouraged her every step of the way. She believed Crystal had real talent, and she pushed her to take chances. One of those chances came during Crystal's high school summers, when she joined Loretta on tour. It was her first real taste of the music world. Then came a moment Crystal would never forget. At just 16, she stepped onto the stage of the Grand Ole Opry to fill in for Loretta, who had gotten sick. Crystal sang "Ribbon of Darkness" by Gordon Lightfoot, and for the first time, a huge audience heard her voice. It was clear she had something special. After graduating from high school in 1970, Crystal took the next big step. She signed her first recording contract with Decca Records, the same label Loretta was on. But there was one problem. Her real name was Brenda, and Decca already had a famous Brenda, Brenda Lee. The label told her she had to change it. One day while driving, Loretta spotted a sign for the Crystal fast food restaurant and said, "That's your name. Crystals are bright and shiny, just like you." And just like that, Brenda Gayle Webb became Crystal Gayle, using Gayle from her own middle name. That was the beginning of a music career that would one day make her unforgettable. Loretta may have given her the perfect name, but finding a voice that was truly her own took time. Finding her own voice. Crystal Gayle didn't start out as a superstar with her own sound. In the early days of her career, she was managed by Oliver Lynn, Loretta Lynn's husband. When Crystal signed with Decca Records, everyone seemed to expect her to follow the same path as Loretta. Her first big job was regular performances on Jim Ed Brown's TV show, The Country Palace, where she mostly sang songs written by her sister. When she eventually released her first single, I've Cried the Blue Right Out of My Eyes, also written by Loretta, it reached the top 40 on the country charts. She followed it with more singles like Everybody Ought to Cry and I Hope You're Having Better Luck Than Me. But even with a few chart entries, her career wasn't going anywhere. Decca Records kept pushing her to sound exactly like Loretta, and critics noticed. One reviewer even said her early songs were just little Loretta records. Crystal felt the weight of that comparison every day. She later admitted that she realized she was only signed because of her sister's fame. On top of that, writers noted she was stigmatized for being Loretta Lynn's sibling, and it became clear that staying on that path meant she would never grow on her own. It was Loretta herself who finally gave Crystal the advice she needed. Loretta told her directly, "Quit singing my songs. We already have one Loretta Lynn. We don't need another." That moment changed everything. Crystal decided she had to step out of her sister's shadow and in 1974 left Decca Records to find her own musical identity. That same year, she signed with United Artists Records. Her producer, Alan Reynolds, brought a new vision. Instead of pushing her to copy anyone else, he encouraged her to explore a smoother, softer sound. This approach opened the door to a more modern country pop style that fit her voice perfectly. He also helped her reach a wider audience beyond traditional country fans. Her first single under the new label, Restless, came out in 1974 and reached number 39 on the country charts. It wasn't a huge hit, but it showed a new direction, one true to who she was becoming. Her first album with United Artists, Crystal Gayle, reached number 25 on the country albums chart, marking her first real step forward. Just a year after her transition, Crystal scored her first top 10 hit with Wrong Road Again, written by Alan Reynolds. More singles followed, including This Is My Year for Mexico and Beyond You, which she wrote with her husband, Bill Gatsimos. Her second album, Somebody Loves You, gave her another top 10 success with the title track. Critics immediately saw the difference. They described her new sound as easygoing and pleasant, something close to what Emmylou Harris and Don Williams were doing. With Alan Reynolds guiding her and songwriters like Richard Lee contributing, Crystal finally broke through. 2 years after she left her sister's record, she earned her first #1 hit with I'll Get Over You, followed by another chart topper and a #2 single. Her third album, Crystal, reached #7 and proved she had fully stepped into her own spotlight. Crystal Gayle was no longer Loretta's sister. She had become a star in her own right. What she didn't know was that the song that would define her entire career was already on its way. The accidental recording that made Crystal Gayle a legend. When Crystal Gayle first started recording, her producer, Alan Reynolds, knew she had something special, something that could reach far beyond country music. He believed she could become a true crossover star if the right song came along. In 1977, that moment finally arrived. Songwriter Richard Lee had written a tune called Don't It Make My Brown Eyes Blue. Funny enough, the song wasn't meant for Crystal at all. It was supposed to go to British singer Shirley Bassey. But when Reynolds heard the demo, he immediately stopped Lee and told him, "You're not sending that song anywhere." He knew the song belonged to Crystal. Back then, artists often recorded a rough version of a song, a simple guide vocal, before coming back later to record the final version. Crystal stepped into the studio, sang the guide vocal in one take, and went home. When it was time to record the real version, something unexpected happened. No matter how many times she tried, she couldn't match the feeling of that first take. After several attempts, she finally admitted, "I can't get that same emotion back." So, the scratch vocal, the quick, simple one, became the final master. When Don't It Make My Brown Eyes Blue was released in 1977, everything changed. The song shot to #1 on the country charts and climbed to #2 on the Billboard Hot 100. It became a massive international hit, even reaching #5 in the United Kingdom. Critics loved her soft, clear voice, calling it pretty and straightforward, and fans quickly embraced the song as her signature hit. It became the song everyone associated with Crystal Gayle. That same year, she released the album We Must Believe in Magic, which became another major success. It reached #2 on the country albums chart and #12 on the Billboard 200. The album was praised for its mix of pop, rock and roll, and modern country, and it made history. It became the first album by a female country artist to ever go platinum. The success didn't stop there. In 1978, Crystal won the Grammy Award for Best Female Country Vocal Performance, and Richard Lee won Best Country Song for writing Brown Eyes Blue. In 1978, she released her next album, When I Dream. It also reached #2 on the country charts and eventually went platinum. The lead single, Talking in Your Sleep, became another #1 country hit and even crossed over to the pop charts. The song also reached #11 in the UK, proving her international appeal. The album featured more hits, including Why Have You Left the One You Left Me For and When I Dream. By the end of 1978, Crystal Gayle had become one of the biggest female artists in country music. She won Female Vocalist of the Year from both the Academy of Country Music and the Country Music Association. Before she left United Artists Records, she released one more album, We Should Be Together, which produced 2 more top 10 hits. Her success came from one perfect moment, a simple guide vocal that captured lightning in a bottle. But with her star rising, the question became, could Crystal take her music beyond country and truly become a crossover legend? The crossover legend. In 1979, Crystal Gayle switched to Columbia Records, bringing along her longtime producer, Alan Reynolds. Under Columbia, she began recording more cover songs, which critics praised, calling her versatility. That same year, she released her 7th studio album, Miss the Mississippi, which included hits like Half the Way, her 3rd song to cross over from country to pop. The album reached #3 on the Billboard Top Country Albums chart, cracked the Billboard 200 at 36, and went gold. Her next album, These Days, brought 2 more #1 country hits, If You Ever Change Your Mind and Too Many Lovers. Then, in 1981, Hollywood, Tennessee came out, reaching #5 on the country albums chart and 99 on the Billboard 200. Critics were mixed. Some praised her smooth vocals, while others thought the album leaned too much toward an uptown pop sound. Still, it produced hits like The Woman in Me and the socially conscious Livin' in These Troubled Times. As her music transcended genres, Crystal began appearing beyond the Nashville scene. She hosted 2 CBS primetime specials, The Crystal Special and Crystal, both of which earned critical praise. In 1979, she performed with Bob Hope for his On the Road to China special, singing on the Great Wall of China, a first for any artist at the time. In 1982, she collaborated with Tom Waits on the soundtrack for Francis Ford Coppola's film One from the Heart. Initially delayed due to scheduling and record label disputes, the soundtrack finally came out to glowing reviews. Critics praised the dreamy duets, which blended seamlessly with the film. That same year, Crystal moved to Elektra Records and released the duet You and I with Eddie Rabbitt. The song hit #1 on the country chart and became a top 10 pop hit. Her first Elektra album, True Love, faced some production tweaks, but delivered 3 #1 country singles: Our Love Is on the Fault Line, Baby What About You, and Till I Gain Control Again. In 1983, she released Cage the Songbird, her first album fully produced by Jimmy Bowen. It featured crossover hits like The Sound of Goodbye and Turning Away, and climbed to number 5 on the Country Albums chart. Crystal continued having success throughout the decade, with #1 hits such as Straight to the Heart and Cry in 1986. She also sang duets with Gary Morris, producing hits like Makin' Up for Lost Time and the theme for Another World, which played on TV for 9 years. Outside music, Crystal opened Crystal's Fine Gifts and Jewelry in Nashville in 1987, selling jewelry, crystals, and gifts from European artisans. The shop ran successfully until 2008, but with such a vast and varied career, how did Crystal Gayle keep reinventing herself while still staying connected to the fans who had loved her from the very beginning? Musical journey across genres. The reinvention began when Crystal Gayle reunited with her longtime producer, Alan Reynolds, when she signed with Capitol Records, releasing her 17th studio album, Ain't Gonna Worry. Critics praised it, calling it an excellent set of country pop, and it produced several singles, including Just an Old Love and Never Ending Song of Love, which became her last charting single to date. She followed that with 3 Good Reasons, whose title track came with a heartfelt music video showing Crystal's warmth and style. The album received positive but mixed reviews, highlighting her continued talent and versatility. As the decade went on, Crystal explored smaller projects, revisiting her classics for the Branson Entertainment Group's Best Always, and venturing into gospel with Someday and Joy and Inspiration. She co-produced Someday and filmed its lead single in Greece, sharing music that reflected her life experiences. Not one to stay in one lane, Crystal expanded into jazz and American standards with Crystal Sings the Heart and Soul of Hoagy Carmichael, a tribute to the legendary composer. Critics raved, calling it a gorgeous set that reaffirms Crystal's artistry. She even teamed up with Willie Nelson for the playful duet, Two Sleepy People, effortlessly blending charm and skill. She also released a children's album, In My Arms, and another collection of standards, All My Tomorrows, earning praise for her direct, subtle singing that highlights her timeless voice without relying on flashy theatrics. Later, Crystal worked on a covers album produced by her son, Chris Gatsimos. Released as You Don't Know Me, Classic Country, it became her first studio album to chart since 1988, reaching number 40 on the Billboard Independent Albums list. Critics noted that while her upper register has softened, she still sounds amiable, and the Digital Journal gave it an A rating, calling her a country queen with a timeless voice. From chart-topping hits to gospel, jazz, and classic standards, Crystal showed an ability to evolve with the times while maintaining her signature voice. After decades of surprising fans with her range and talent, how did she balance her busy career with her personal life? Balancing family and fame. Crystal Gayle has maintained a close bond with her 7 siblings throughout her life. Before signing her first recording contract, she toured with her brother J. Lee Webb's band, learning the ropes of performing on the road. Years later, she honored that connection by covering his song You Never Were Mine on her 2019 studio album, saying in an interview that she wished she had done it sooner. Her older sister Peggy Sue has also played a significant role in Crystal's career, performing background vocals on her road shows while pursuing her own solo work. Despite occasional playful bickering, Crystal shared a warm and supportive relationship with her eldest sister, country legend Loretta Lynn. Both women have clarified that any talk of rivalry is exaggerated. In truth, they respect and look up to each other, sharing a sisterly love that has endured over decades. Family has always been central to Crystal's life, particularly her marriage to Bill Gatsimos. The couple first met in high school and began dating long before Crystal's career took off. While she was signing to United Artists Records, Gatsimos was attending law school at Vanderbilt University. After graduating, he became her manager and eventually president of their company, Crystal Enterprises. The secret to their long-lasting marriage, according to Crystal, has been giving each other freedom to pursue personal interests and space to breathe. Together, they built a strong family foundation, welcoming 2 children, daughter Catherine in 1983 and son Christos in 1986. Christos has grown into a successful record producer, co-producing Crystal's 2019 album, continuing the family's musical legacy. Even as her career soared, Crystal prioritized motherhood in both practical and heartfelt ways. When her first child was born, she balanced performing with feeding her baby, stepping off stage to breastfeed before returning to the spotlight. With her second child, she took time at home, but never stopped nurturing her family. Today, Crystal's life is brightened by 2 grandchildren, Elijah and Bjorn, who bring energy, joy, and a sense of wonder to her daily routine. She has spoken warmly about family traditions, especially holidays, calling them bright spots in her life and moments she treasures deeply. The joy of baking cookies, spending time together, and sharing laughter on special days makes the pull of the road worthwhile. From a childhood dream to a signature look, her hair has been inseparable from her persona. But what was it about those cascading locks that made Crystal Gayle truly unforgettable? The voice? The hair? The legend? Crystal Gayle is unforgettable, not just for her music, but for her incredible floor-length hair. As a child, her mother kept her hair short, but Crystal dreamed of long, flowing locks. She was inspired after seeing a woman in Nashville with hair that reached her knees. From that moment on, she set out to grow hers just as long. Over time, her hair became her signature, drawing attention and helping her fan club grow alongside her rising fame. By the time it reached the floor, it had become a symbol of her persona, so much so that even the thought of cutting it seemed impossible. Crystal credits her daughter for keeping her from chopping it all off. Her daughter once said, "You can't cut your hair, you won't be Crystal Gayle." Crystal has always preferred keeping her hair simple and straight. She admits she might love experimenting with styles, but she isn't a professional stylist. Long hair is easy to care for. Wash it, let it go, and it looks stunning. Yet, she still visits a hairstylist regularly, trimming 9 to 12 inches each year to keep it healthy and shiny. Her long, sleek hair has become iconic, so much so that writers describe it as waves of motion through her Godiva-like brunette tresses, a defining part of her sex appeal. People once named her among the 50 most beautiful people in the world, cementing her status as a style icon and music star. Beyond her looks, Crystal is one of the most successful country pop crossover artists of all time. Her smooth voice and approachable style helped her reach audiences beyond traditional country music, paving the way for stars like Faith Hill, Shania Twain, and Carrie Underwood. Crystal herself racked up an astonishing 18 #1 hits, placing her among the top female artists in country music history, just behind legends like Dolly Parton, Reba McEntire, and Tammy Wynette. Her influence hasn't gone unnoticed. Over the years, she has received numerous awards recognizing her impact on the music industry. She was inducted into the Kentucky Music Hall of Fame, received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, and earned the Academy of Country Music's Cliffy Stone Pioneer Award. She's been listed among country music's most powerful women and continues to inspire new generations of performers. One of her most memorable moments came when Carrie Underwood invited her to become a member of the Grand Ole Opry. Crystal performed her classic hit, "Don't It Make My Brown Eyes Blue," before officially joining, with the legendary Loretta Lynn welcoming her. Even decades into her career, Crystal remains a beloved figure in country music, performing, inspiring, and reminding fans why she became a trailblazer for women in the industry. Her long hair, timeless beauty, and remarkable voice make Crystal Gayle unforgettable. A true icon whose influence goes far beyond the stage. Behind the glamour and the floor-length hair lies a life carefully balanced between career, family, and personal joy. So how has she managed to stay grounded while achieving so much? The secret to balancing life. When asked about her proudest musical moments, Crystal Gayle's eyes light up. There are so many, she says. Winning the Grammy, the CMA, the ACM, all those awards meant a lot. But working with legends like Bob Hope and Dean Martin, meeting presidents, and becoming a member of the Grand Ole Opry, that was truly special. My sister Loretta did the honors when I joined in 2017. I was very touched. Yet her pride extends far beyond the stage. Crystal beams when talking about her family. Of course, having children has been one of my greatest joys. I have a daughter and a son, and now my son has 2 boys. Being a grandmother, or Yaya as I'm called, is wonderful. We're Yaya and Papu. Björn, the youngest, is 3, and we have so much fun together. Balancing motherhood with a career on the road wasn't always easy. I slowed down when my children were young, she explained. My oldest, Catherine, traveled with me until school started. I didn't want to just homeschool or have someone tutor her while we toured. I wanted her to experience a normal childhood, and I cherished my own school years, so I wanted the same for her. And of course, her signature floor-length hair has long been a symbol of her style. Crystal laughs when asked about managing it. Not really, she says. I often think about cutting it to a style that suits me now, but it's hard to let go of something that's been with me so long. The only reason it got this long is that I couldn't style it differently. At its longest, her hair brushed 4 inches on the ground. Even in heels, I could step on it, she recalls. All the girls in my family grow hair fast. I think it comes from our American Indian heritage, and we're very proud of it. Her enduring marriage to her husband Bill is another point of pride. You have to give and take, she says. There are days when you drive each other crazy, but it can't be one-sided. You both have to work at it and know when to let each other breathe. For Crystal, life's most important lesson is simple. Be true to yourself. I couldn't record songs I didn't like or do a dance routine that wasn't me. You have to do things your own way. Now, in her golden years, she appreciates the gifts of experience. I'm grateful to have reached this age and still feel well enough to perform. Touring can be brutal, but I love seeing the friends I've made over the years. My career has gone beyond just #1 hits, and it's been consistent. I feel very fortunate. Unfortunately, Crystal's sister did not have the perfect marriage, and fans have one question. Why did she stay till the very end despite becoming very successful? Loretta, Lynn, and Do. Loretta Lynn was just a young girl when she married Oliver Doolittle Lynn, known as Do, barely out of her teens. They met at a local pie social, and soon after tied the knot. Their marriage lasted decades, producing 6 children, but it was far from simple. Love, heartbreak, fights, and infidelity all marked their relationship, yet it remained the defining connection of Loretta's life. The early days were rough. Do once sent Loretta back to her parents while she was pregnant, a sign of the turmoil that would surface again and again. Their marriage wasn't without violence. On one occasion, after drinking, Do smashed jars of green beans because his dinner was late. Loretta fought back too. She famously declared, "Every time Do smacked me, he got smacked twice." In one heated moment, she poured a skillet of creamed corn over his head. Another time, she struck him so hard she thought she might be in serious trouble, but he laughed it off. Despite the chaos, Du played a key role in launching Loretta's music career. He bought her first guitar and pushed her to perform, insisting she had what it took to succeed. Loretta had never sung in front of anyone before, but his encouragement gave her the courage to take the stage. When her first single came out, Du was there every step of the way, helping promote it and traveling with her to radio stations. Loretta often said that without his drive and support, there would have been no Loretta Lynn, the country music icon. Their turbulent life together also fueled her songwriting. Nearly every song she wrote had a piece of Du in it, even if he didn't realize which line was about him. Fist City Saya, for instance, was her way of confronting a woman who was flirting with Du while Loretta was performing on stage. Fans loved her songs because they captured real struggles from a woman's perspective. As Loretta's career soared, life at home didn't necessarily get easier. The family moved into a big house and estate, far from the days when she worked as a cook, picking berries or cleaning homes to support the family. Touring meant long absences, and she often returned unsure of what she'd find: anger, chaos, or loneliness. Du's infidelities continued, sometimes even while she was away, but she stayed. "I put up with it because of 6 kids," she explained, "and I loved him, and he loved me." She also believed, if you can't fight for your man, he's not worth having. Years later, Du faced serious health issues, including heart surgery and complications from diabetes that led to the amputation of both legs. Loretta paused her career to care for him, standing by his side through the toughest days. When he passed away, the loss left a huge hole in her life. For a long time, it felt like he was only away on a long trip, never truly gone. Even as she carried the memories of her life with Du, Loretta continued to share her story through music, leaving a lasting impact on fans and the world. Their love endured until the end of her life. Loretta Lynn's family announced that she passed away peacefully at her Tennessee home. She left them in her sleep at her cherished ranch in Hurricane Mills. After her passing, Crystal Gayle took to social media to honor Loretta Lynn, posting a timeless black and white photo of the Queen of Country Music with her guitar, and a caption that captured the weight of Lynn's passing, and also quickly drew an outpouring of support, with fans and fellow artists like Bill Anderson and Mandy Barnett sending their condolences. How will Loretta Lynn's music and story continue to inspire future generations of artists and fans? What lessons from her life and career resonate most with you personally? Share your thoughts with us in the comment section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it.